Hello everyone, I decided to title today's video "Are we ready for the woo?" The title was dictated by the recent series of interviews with people who claim to have been participants to the UFO crash retrieval program aired on the News Nation TV station, with Ross Coldhart interviewing them. The group, currently assembled as the Skywatcher team, ready to observe and record UAPs using various sensors and techniques, came forward with their testimonies, which quite frankly rattled the UFO community quite a bit. You may ask why. The alleged whistleblowers did describe the nuts and bolts part of the phenomenon, at least two types of retrieved craft and an alleged triangular mothership as well. But their strongest claims came from what is usually considered the other side of the UFO coin, the metaphysical realm. The chief person which came forward in that group, named Jake Barber, made his statements first. As a quick recap, during one of the alleged crash and retrieval operations, he came close to the recovered craft, close enough to be within 50 feet according to his recollections. He was overwhelmed by intense emotions, which included a mixture of perfect unconditional love, sadness and awe. His descriptions aligned quite close to the description of experiencers presented by perhaps the best known modern UFO experiencer, Chris Bledsoe, who claims to have met a non-human intelligence he calls the Lady, who evoked the same feelings in him. At least one of the current wave of whistleblowers also reported similar feelings during one of his encounters. What is curious about these experiences is that in all those cases the experiencers came into contact with what was perceived as feminine energy of being. Quite frankly, especially with the case of Chris Bledsoe, the experience was fairly, if not quite, similar enough to what is often reported as Marian apparitions, especially in the Catholic faith. The exception here is that the lady Bledsoe met had the symbolism associated rather with the Egyptian goddess Hathor. She was accompanied by a semi-translucent bull, rather than Virgin Mary. This also made me think of a proposal brought forward by the veteran ufologist Jacques Vallée in his books, according to whom the experiences of the three Portuguese children in 1917 who have claimed to have met the Virgin Mary, followed by the Miracle of the Sun event the same year, may have been a series of events potentially initiated by the phenomenon we tend to describe as UFOs. The same loving and yet sad energy, motherly but at the same time drenched in misery over our human condition and its downsides, as well as the darker sides of humanity. The claims of the most recent wave of whistleblowers entering the realm of the paranormal did not end here, though. They claim that special forces of the US, including those involved in secret programs and three-letter agencies, use teams of people with psionic, or psychic if you will, capabilities. Those people are allegedly performing what sounds essentially like the High C or C5 protocol, that is, human-initiated contact with non-human intelligences. Cutting a long story short, these people enter a deep meditative state, very much a trance, and in this state they are able to act as guiding beacons to UFOs, which manifest at the physical location of the team. This has been known before, and while in the past these claims were firmly believed in by a part of the UFO community, shunned by some, and yet accepted as a possibility by others, the story presented by Jake Barber and company goes much further than that. They claim that in addition to being able to summon the craft, the psionic assets, as they say, are able to invite the UFOs to land at the location. Allegedly, this was how some recoveries happened in the past. But the craziest part to this particular story happens next. The claims say that the ability of the psionics goes further and allows them to actually pilot UFOs. So you can see where this is going. While the UFO community is generally fairly open-minded to say the least, by the virtue of the topic it engages with, when it got exposed to a wild claim like that, a storm erupted in discussions. Some people, especially those with experiencer status and experiences of their own under their proverbial belts, tend to lend some credence to the recently presented claims, especially that the Skywatchers group now promised us to show an actual and full coverage of an event during which they allegedly summoned a UAP and a dogfight in the skies followed. If proven, their veracity would receive an enormous boost. However, a big chunk of the community dismissed them as hoaxers and grifters, just wanting to earn some money off the recent UFO craze, and in the worst case scenario, disinformation agents. Well, when it comes to the grifter part, this suspicion is rather unsubstantiated. Jake Barber himself is a millionaire with several successful enterprises running. When it comes to the disinformation agent part, well, that is an argument that nobody is really able to deny, confirm, we can only contest it, I guess. The credential of the whistleblowers seem to check out, but the fact alone does not preclude their continuous involvement in government control of the topic at large as well. The Skywatcher program has officially launched its YouTube channel, and reports from the UFO summoning adventures were released to a mixed reception from the community at large, as far as I can tell. Let us go back to the Wu issue though. The erupting discussions show something interesting. It seems that most people interested in UFOs are perfectly fine with non-human craft entering our skies, possibly crashing and being collected for reverse engineering and other purposes. The possibility of dead bodies of the pilots or even live aliens being found is not universally rejected either. However, the more unorthodox claims are where the problem lies. We are conditioned from the moment we are born to operate in our logical cause and effect and three-dimensional reality. The claims of psionics being able to control UAPs, possibly sentient craft, and so on, are something in and of a completely new league altogether. That said, that point of view is also something quite specific for the widely understood Western society. There are parts of the world, for example Native American tribes, parts of South America and Southeast Asia, where either belief in non-human entities and psychic powers in humans is prevalent and accepted very much as a fact by many people, if not the majority of the local populations. We have still only scratched the surface here. In addition to the claims I have mentioned, the topic of metaphysical goes further. We can be dealing with possibly higher dimensional beings and craft here. We may be talking of entities often referred to as angels or demons. Some say the aliens may as well be lowercase gods, simulation caretakers, and so on. Now you can see why the topic is so problematic. If those claims were at least partially true, it would mean that our understanding of reality and our place in it is not just incomplete. In fact, it would mean that our understanding of reality is largely incomplete and extremely limited. Where do I personally stand on the issue? By now I have largely accepted the physical part of the phenomenon as being extremely probable, including visitations, craft flying in our atmosphere, and so on. The piling up evidence is becoming harder and harder to refute. As to the metaphysical side of things, I cannot say that I am a strict believer, especially in that I am not an experiencer myself. But I also keep an open mind, as the phenomenon seems to be weird by default. We well know that our science and understanding of reality around us is incomplete, and I stand by the general scientific view. The reality is what it is, and we can only accept it as it is. If it is just physical, so be it, but if we have missed something spiritual and which is also real, who knows, maybe the claims of people like Chris Bledsoe, Jake Barber, and others are also true. And what do you think, dear viewers? Let me know in the comment section down below and we can share the thoughts and discuss things. In the meantime, I keep my eyes on the news, including drones, Nazca mummies, and so on, while also thinking more about videos about more or less known UFO cases from the past. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and until then, stay safe, take care, and I will see you soon in another video.